It's 6:30. We're going to get started. Please join me in pledge allegiance to the flag. And if those of you who are able, please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for joining this evening. May I take attendance?
So noted.
Okay, may I also have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Support?
Okay, I have a motion, support. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, great. I would like our statement. Okay, welcome to the Bloomfield Township Zoning Board of Appeals meeting of June 9th, 2026. As a brief introduction, the Zoning Board of Appeals is a 7-member quasi-judicial body appointed by the Bloomfield Township Board of Trustees per the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act. Matters pending before the Zoning Board of Appeals are decided on a case-by-case basis. Any appeal of a decision made by the Zoning Board of Appeals is subject to circuit court review. Each case will be called separately in the order shown on tonight's agenda. Okay, for our first case, 1P, 6700 Mark Court. Is the applicant here? All right, thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
This is Jacob Lubig with Ventures Design and Build. The address is 25168 Sealy Road in Novi, Michigan.
Okay, please state just a brief summary of your application.
Yeah, so we're looking to install a pool at this property. The primary practical difficulty with this property is it's a unique lot configuration. By definition, this parcel doesn't have a rear yard. So although the proposed pool area functions as a homeowner's backyard and primary outdoor living space, it is technically classified as a front yard because the property abuts the street. As a result, improvements that would typically be permitted behind a home on a conventional lot require variance relief on this property. The proposed pool location was selected because it's the most practical location on site. The area behind the home provides the only functional space for a pool while still maintaining reasonable setbacks from surrounding properties and compliance with the district's 40-foot front setback requirement. The pool is located behind the residence and does not project closer to the street than the home itself. The pool equipment is proposed adjacent to the pool rather than adjacent to the house due to the significant grade drop between the rear of the home and the proposed pool location. Locating the equipment near the pool minimizes unnecessary disturbance to the site and provides the most practical and efficient installation while still maintaining appropriate setbacks. To further reduce any visual impact, the pool area, fencing, and equipment located will be screened with evergreen landscaping. The intent is to ensure that these improvements remain well integrated into the property and minimally visible from the adjacent roadway. The homeowners have also been proactive in communicating with neighboring properties and have letters of support for the application. The proposed improvements are residential in nature, consistent with the character of the neighborhood, and not expected to create adverse impacts on the adjacent properties. In many ways, this application is exactly the type of situation for which dimensional variances exist. The request is driven by the unique physical characteristics of the property rather than the person's preference, and the homeowners are seeking the minimal relief necessary to make reasonable use of their property while still maintaining the intent of the ordinance.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Okay, well, I'll open the public hearing. Would anyone like to speak to this matter? Then I'll close the public. Oh, would you like to speak?
Yes, I am.
Please come up to the podium and state your name and address.
My name is William Rogers. I own the property along with my wife at 6658 Meadow Lake Drive. My property abuts the property at 6700 Mark Drive. So, let me see here. Okay. First of all, we don't have any problem with it being considered a rear yard. We don't have any problem with moving the pool equipment closer to the pool rather than being immediately adjacent. What we do have a problem with is the setback against the side lot line. this setback was 11 feet 3 inches. I noticed the pool equipment is slightly different. I don't know if the setback changed since the time I got to view this or not. So if somebody could enlighten me about what the setback from that side lot line is currently, I'd appreciate it.
Is that your only comment, or?
It's a side lot line, but the problem is, I think it can be easily solved. You can see that angle change in the fence line at the top of the drawing. If you back that up towards the house somewhat, you can maintain the 16-foot side lot setback that's required. This might impinge on the equipment location where it is, but that equipment, it's relatively flat in that area, and that equipment could also slide back towards the house sufficient to keep it far enough away from the pool. So we don't feel that there's been justification for violating the side lot line setback.
It looks to me that the setback is 18 foot 1.
Is it now 18.1? The one I had it at 11.3.
Yes, that's greater than 16, so that's.
Since it's greater than 16, we'd have no further objections.
We'll clarify that too with the applicant.
Yeah, clarify that, please.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah, so on the plan that you're
Okay,
looking
just
at now,
one
it's
moment. Let me-
18, I'm
just
sorry.
one- I just want to make sure, are there any other comments from the public?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll close the public hearing. Thank you.
Yeah, when we, the setback that's on there to the pool equipment is 18 feet 1 inch. And for the fence to the lot line, we have 12 feet 10 inches. When we originally put this plan together, we weren't considering the fact that you guys have the ordinance for dog fences. It was all just supposed to be pool enclosure when we put it together. I think we still have pretty adequate space between the property lines for, just the required pool fence that needs to be there. There's the two adjacent neighbors on the opposite side both gave letters of support. There is some heavy vegetation over on that side. I don't think there's going to be too much, issue between the property lines, but that's where we're at.
Any questions from the board?
No, just a clarification on that. You did say you would be putting evergreen screening around all of the fencing, so there'd be evergreen screening there.
The way we have it proposed is for the, we have it around the pool and the pool equipment. But if we need to add more evergreen screening for the fence, that's something we'd be willing to do. Because I know there are a few spots that are within that 16-foot. Most of the fence is beyond that 16-foot. There's just a couple little areas that dip into that. So if you would like us to add those evergreen screenings in the closer areas or even around the perimeter, we'll do what needs to be done per ordinance.
Well, I've closed the public hearing, so you really can't make a comment. Did you have a quick question, or?
It was a quick question of, when I read out the setback, I was told the setback, I thought that was a setback to the fence, not the setback to the pool equipment. With the setback to the fence only being 12 feet, that's in violation of the side lot setback. And there's an easy solution to fix that. You just slide the angle change back a little bit till you get the proper clearance.
And do you want to?
Jocelyn, can I ask a couple questions?
Sure.
Andrea, can you get a point of clarification on, do fences or dog enclosure or pool fences have a minimum setback?
The reason that this particular fence is before the zoning board this evening is because it is located in a secondary front yard, and because they do have a dog, it's considered a dog enclosure. The dog enclosure provision is what necessitates the setback.
So if this was a pool equipment fence, what would be the setback requirement?
If this was in a regular rear yard and it was not for a dog, or there was no dog on the property, they would be permitted to do 4 feet up to the lot line.
Okay. So because it's a unique circumstance, because it has a secondary frontage, which is one issue. Second issue is it's a fence for two different scenarios, both dog and pool. If there was no dog on site, they could go 4 feet to the property line without a problem, and without any type of ZBA hearing. Is that correct?
Correct.
So,
Is there any primacy between a dog fence and a pool fence? Like one takes
I think
precedence
it's more
over the
about the
other?
dog running closer to the fence, right?
All right, yeah.
We have a provision within the township that if you have a dog on your property, a fence is supposed to be 16 feet from both your side lot lines and 25 feet from your rear, with the idea that some people may not want a dog right up to their property line.
Yeah.
So in this instance, because they have a dog, we do have to follow those setback requirements in this instance. That's why they're seeking a variance to that provision.
Understood.
Any other questions from the board? No discussion?
Well, I guess the question would be, can you move it the 4 feet? Be at your 16?
If need be, we can do that. We can push it in the 4 feet that's required. Like I said before, as this was designed, it wasn't designed to be a dog fence. We weren't trying to put a fence together that we knew a dog would be. It's mainly just for the pool enclosure.
I mean, it's a sizable enclosure, and I don't see, other than it not being a rear yard, that the 4 feet would make a difference on the size that you're enclosing here, if you can do that along that angle.
Yeah, if there's a way that, like, there can be a ruling that says, we could build this fence, it's a pool enclosure, as long as it maintains the 16-foot side yard setbacks, we'd be more than happy to adjust the design to do that today.
All right, well, I'm ready to make a motion.
Great.
In the, I need to find my address. For the zoning appeal at 6700 Mark Court, I will do the permission request first. I move that the request be approved as submitted with the provision that the portion against that neighboring lot line is at its 16 feet. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-6.7 standards, the size of the accessory structure is compatible, the need for a dog fence has been demonstrated, the use is appropriate to the neighborhood, and the location will not hinder or discourage the use of adjacent property. Additionally, it will be screened to the height of the fence. As regards to the dimensional variance, I move also that be approved as requested, as shown on the drawings, with the additional 4 feet for the fence. Compliance with the strict lighting ordinance would be unduly burdensome due to the multiple unique conditions in this property. It does not have a rear yard. Everything's been set in what would feel like a rear yard. Additionally, the sloping nature of the lot is unduly burdensome to putting the pool equipment adjacent to the house. Should this motion be approved, all permits are required and prior to starting construction and must be applied for within 1 year.
Okay, I have a motion in support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you. Okay, next item, 2555 Covington Place. Good evening.
Brian Nieper, architect, 259 East Frank, Birmingham. So here on Covington Place, we have a whole house renovation that we're working on with a pretty sizable addition to the rear. As a part of our exterior renovations, we're proposing a covered front porch. The existing position of the home is fairly close to Covington Place. We're just doing like the minimum covered front porch, which about 5 feet, which projects nearly 2 feet into the front yard setback. So I'm hoping to gain your support to allow for a front covered porch into the front yard setback by 2 feet.
Any questions from the board?
Just curious, is that 5 feet industry standard, or is it just what you set up?
Yeah, 5 feet's like a pretty minimal covered front porch.
Minimal.
I wouldn't like to go any less than that. You can't really put chairs out and be able to walk around the chairs. So.
Okay.
Any other questions? Then I'll open the public hearing.
Good evening. Kathy Weisenborn, representing Bloomfield Village Association, 3595 Bradway. Our board did review this this proposal. It's a very nice, a beautiful renovation in addition to this home. The proposed front porch is proportional and really an integral part of the design of the front of the home, and we fully support the dimensional variance. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak to this matter? Okay, then I'll close the hearing and bring it back to the board.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
So with regard to the appeal at 2555 Covington Place for the dimensional variance request for the covered front porch encroaching 2 feet into the 40-foot northerly front yard setback, I move that this variance be approved as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome due to that it would prevent reasonable use of the property. There is no injustice to adjoining neighbors by the fact that it is consistent with other homes in the area and is a great addition. Unique circumstances of the property have been demonstrated, given that the existing floor plan would be limited if we didn't permit this, and as a result, this is not self-created. If this motion is approved, all application for necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, 2930 Turtle Pond Court. Good evening.
Good evening. Joe Wilson with Wilson Design Associates here on behalf of the Minoshi residents at 2930 Turtle Pond Court. Our proposal in front of you tonight is simple. We ask a dimensional variance request for a screen wall that is 16 feet long by 6 foot tall. The ordinance is 4 foot, and it's going to screen a barbecue island and provide some additional privacy for a patio. It currently, or it will measure off the property line 16 feet at its nearest point. And just to the, on the other side of the property line, there's some big, beautiful Norway spruce that we want to take advantage of, and so it's pretty well screened as it is proposed. So with that, be happy to answer any questions or comments.
Any questions from the board?
So you're using screening on the neighbor's property, not on your property, is that correct?
That's correct.
So we may have to.
I know where you're going with it.
Okay, so.
We'd be happy to put some arborvitae for.
Perfect.
You got it.
I'm excited to hear
I was
today
waiting
the
for
public
that.
comment.
I was waiting for that.
I know, sorry.
That's all right. I got your number. We're good.
Very consistent.
Yeah. I should mention too that it'll be veneered with a thin stone. They have a beautiful split-faced stone on the house, and we want to match the architecture for that.
I
So
imagine it'll be beautiful.
It'll be
It's
cool.
just the
Yeah.
ordinance. I didn't think you were putting up a concrete block wall, I promise.
yeah, no, I wouldn't.
But
Yeah, I wouldn't do
we
that
have
to
the
you.
ordinance.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, then I'll open the public hearing. Anyone like to speak to this matter? Then I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for a motion or discussion.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion in regards to the appeal at 2930 Turtle Pond Court. I move the variance be approved as amended. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance to all standards for practical difficulty because compliance strictly the ordinance be unduly burdensome because they're able to put a wall back there, they don't have privacy for their backyard, as well as the fact that in this area, other neighbors have the same thing. And there's no injustice to the adjoining neighbors by the reason of we're going to screen it. And again, this is a common practice in this area. Unique circumstances of this property have been demonstrated, given the fact that, again, these type of accessory structures in the rear yard are appropriate for this area, as well as the privacy to block out the kitchen feature out here. And again, this is not self-created because of the fact that, again, other neighbors have this. If approved, all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation. And then we're going to screen it up to the height of that wall in some way on your property, wherever you do that. But it has to be on your property.
Got it.
And I know you'll take care of that because you're a professional.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Great, thank you.
Have a good evening. Okay, number 3, 6940 Woodbank Drive. Good evening. Good evening.
My name's Alex Blowitsky, 6940 Woodbank Drive. I'm here tonight looking for gaining approval from the board to install a shed on residential property in Birmingham Farm subdivision. The shed would be located in backyard against the garage and within 16 feet of property line. Purpose of the shed is to increase storage for garden equipment, sports equipment, toys, and et cetera. Currently, I live in a slab without a basement, so extra storage would help out. Currently, I have a plastic shed in the back, so I'm trying to upgrade and make it look better to replace that shed. So I think this would be an upgrade to my house and to the neighborhood as well. And also, in my material, I provided documentation showing screening solution as well. So this would be against both neighbors' fences in the red. That's it. Yeah.
Questions from the board?
I have one question.
Sure.
So we're gonna go on screening again. I
Yeah.
really appreciate your screening plan. It needs to be further to, if this, I don't know if this is north, but you see how if I'm looking at your neighbors, it doesn't seem to line up with the back of your house? It has to be out of public view. So you're gonna need to extend your screening wall along the right-hand side. Will you agree to that?
All the way to the road?
Not all the way to the road, but basically past the plane of your garage, like the back plane.
Okay.
Because if I'm looking from the neighbors, I can see your shed still.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that seem reasonable?
Like how, like right there? Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I can update that, yeah. To reflect.
That's why we're
Yeah.
having a discussion. That's
Okay.
something you think it could make, you could do?
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Perfect.
Okay. And the spruce is okay then? To cover at the backside? At
It's a
that corner?
deciduous tree that's there all year round, right?
Yes. There's a picture of it as well in there.
That's, no?
Coniferous tree, all year round.
See, that's why we're bored here. So, but it is there all year round, so it doesn't drop its leaves,
Right.
so it'll provide screening 365 days a year. Thank you, Scott.
No problem.
Think something new every day. Any other questions from the board? All right, well, then I'll open the public hearing. Anyone like to speak to this matter? Then I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for a motion or a discussion.
I can make a motion. In regard to the appeal at 6940 Woodbank Drive, I move the request be approved and submitted based on the information presented. The applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-7.6 standards because location of this accessory structure is behind the building, behind the house. You can't see it from the front. It will be screened from the neighbors, and it's placed in the right spot. If approved, the motion must include application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation. Additional evergreen plantings shall be required to screen this shed from public view and must meet or exceed the height of the shed at time of planting, and we need to extend the planting closer to the road.
Understand.
So it completely blocks it from the neighbor.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations. Have a good evening.
Have a good week.
Okay, item number 4, 1065 Green Tree Road.
Hello, Alex Ketty, Luxury Resort Design Build, 105 Green Tree. We're trying to build a gazebo.
Did you intend to screen the gazebo?
It is screened. It will be screened.
Is that depicted on the drawing here?
Yes, the gazebo area will be screened. They have all evergreens that's all around their properties, and they do have a lot of greenery that you can't see in that backyard.
So it's screened from public view?
Yes,
Where does that show that on your drawing?
the screen.
Yes.
The green bell screen all the way around. The whole backyard's all greenery. They have evergreens all around the property in the back. You can't see in their backyard, you can't see the neighbor at all.
365?
Yes, yes.
Tom, can you show me the picture? They showed the north, south, east, west of the backyard.
And she did plant a lot of trees last year, a lot of evergreens as well. Yeah, the whole backyard's screened. You can't see anything.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, well then I'll open the public hearing. Anyone like to speak to this matter? Okay. Please, would you give her room for the podium?
Sorry, are you the owner?
I am not. I'm the contractor.
Please
My
state your
name is Laura Wade. I live behind these folks.
Your
It's
address, please?
3219 Woodside Court. So, behind them. There's two, and I'm the left behind them on that picture. And last month, they built a very large garage, which is highly visible. And now this is a gazebo. And I have a question. Is it true that the gazebo is twice the size of the code? 50% exceeds?
I can answer that. We have a requirement with our zoning ordinance that only allows for a certain amount of accessory space on your property, okay? So when they're exceeding 50% of the ground floor area of the existing house, okay? We have a calculation that's done to ensure that you don't have more accessory use on your property that you have residential, right?
So the gazebo size is half the size of the house?
No, the gazebo is only 225 square feet. It's when you add up the detached garage, which is 1158, and you add the existing garage attached to the house at 519.
It's not attached.
Okay. That's how we come up with the calculation, by adding all that up. So that's what they're requesting, is by adding the gazebo. Now they're slightly over that allowable 50%. But that's cumulative.
How much over?
But that's cumulative. The total accessory space altogether over the entire property, they're 430 square feet over.
I want a number like, okay, the gazebo's supposed to be 50 square feet, it is 75 square feet.
Yeah, we don't have that. What we're doing is we're looking at all the accessory spaces on that single property, adding them all up and making sure that that accessory space doesn't exceed the house. And in this instance, when you add it all up, it exceeds the limit by 430 square feet total.
The gazebo?
No, the gazebo and the garage is combined.
So is the gazebo too big?
It's 225 square feet, so that's probably an average size of a gazebo.
This is an average size gazebo they're asking for.
I guess I don't know how to answer that. I mean, the 225, after the public comment, if the applicant wants to respond to the size of it.
Can we see a picture again of the gazebo? See the garage they just built behind? It's not finished. It's a 3-car garage white wall with a roof that I can see from my property. And the garage
225
needs,
square feet would be about half of a garage,
Just a second.
just for reference.
okay. So I could see that garage really well. The gazebo I would be able to see fairly well. So they will need to add a lot of greenery. While there are woods, they will not cover both those structures from me standing and looking. So,
Do you have any other comments?
no, are they going to put a lot of greenery around the gazebo and the garage?
Thank you.
That's a question for you.
Yeah, we'll have them address it when we're done with the public hearing. Okay? Oh, Tom, would you mind putting up the photo the other one that showed the garage? One more, I think there was another one. Because that looks like a finished garage. I was talking about how, there it is. What the garage looks, because that's what the current garage probably looks like now. Maybe that's where her comments were.
And it's not finished.
It's not finished, okay. Because the other one showed it with it. Okay.
Up here, we'll get this three-car garage back wall.
Okay. All right, anyone else like to comment on this matter? Okay, well, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the applicant if you want to address any of her concerns, or,
If she needs more evergreens, we could add more evergreens. The property, you can see the trees are kind of touching the garage right now, the evergreens. So,
would you please?
I said the evergreens are touching
to
the
the
garage.
microphone, please,
Oh, I'm
sir.
sorry. The evergreens are touching the garage. These guys have a lot of evergreens on their property, a lot. It's heavily, you can see trees everywhere.
Are those stakes in the ground mapping out? Excuse me, ma'am. Okay, the public hearing is closed, so we can't have any more comments from the floor. Are those stakes just mapping out the?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
When you got the approval for the garage, was there any additional greenery screening that was applied? Or that
There was a couple evergreens that
mandated?
need to go in after we're done construction of the garage.
Excuse me, ma'am. We can't have any comments from the floor once the public hearing is closed.
We just looked back on the motion, and there was not any additional screening proposed at that time, which is not, it is a detached garage, so we just verified that the motion didn't ask for any additional screening. So we did double check that, just for historical record.
And then for context, accessory structures of detached garages normally do not have, or are not required by our ordinance to have screening if the primary use of the detached garage is for a boat or for a car. Is that correct?
Well, it's not explicitly written that way. I think the practice has been that when it's a detached garage, if the materials are similar to that of a house and mirror that of the house, it's not as imposing as perhaps a shed or canopy. So there are times in which the board may determine that additional evergreen screening may not be required. In this instance, it had not been, for whatever reason.
Thank you. And then again, the white that she's referring to is the wrap on the garage. That isn't the finished material, which the house has finished material like a wood-style siding, which would blend more into the nature. So while it stands out now, Scott, would you agree that it's more
I would
the
agree.
temporary construction associated with the
Look at
long-term?
tieback, you look at it wrapped.
Yes.
We just had an inspection today for the masonry. It's gonna match the house perfectly, same brick as the house.
One more question, on the renderings, it looked like the garage had like fitness equipment in it. Is it a multi-purpose building or is it a garage?
I don't
Or
know,
was
we
that
just
just for artistic flair?
That's
It's just designed.
I don't think we're allowed to discuss it, but at the thing, it was half office, half garage and half office / workout
I
space.
just-
But we already ruled on that, so it's not something we get to rule on
Just
today.
curious.
So. And then just, Madam Chair, the only thing is, we did also receive letters from the neighbor on this as well. And it's not that they were opposed to it, they just wanted to know specifically how much more construction was to be done at the property, and then they didn't want to see it as well, is what I gathered.
Right, so the screening was an issue, and then I think also additional accessory structures if there was more coming down the road.
So.
Any questions or comments from the board?
It's before my time, but it seems like even with the accessory structure, not the gazebo, they exceeded the 50%, and that had no problem as well. That went through.
It's a pretty large lot, and the
Oh.
house size is, so the permitted accessory structure pace would be relatively 1473, which for the lot is somewhat small.
And I believe their practical difficulty they stated was their two-car garage wasn't big enough to fit modern vehicles. So while they might have had a big home, but again, that was already ruled on, but while it
This is
adds to
from
the other
my
50%,
Historical knowledge, I appreciate it.
so.
I agree. I think it's a sizable lot, and this is relatively modest-sized structure, this gazebo that we see, ironically, as houses do get added onto, and most likely will, when this house gets larger, that, 50% thing could go away, in a hurry. And by and large, both the detached garage and the gazebo, in my sense, are not out of keeping with the neighborhood or the size of the lot.
Can we make a motion?
You want to make it, you want me to?
Are you ready to make a motion?
I would love to.
Sure.
Madam Chair, in regards to the appeal, I'm going to go with the permission request first. In regards to the appeal at 1065 Green Tree Road for the accessory structure, I move the request be approved as, we're going to call it amended, so we'll get there. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-76 standards because the use of this accessory structure is appropriate to the neighborhood, as many people have pergolas or gazebos in their backyard in order to enjoy the nature. And then in regards to that same appeal for the dimensional variance regarding the 50% ground floor area being exceeded by 430, I move the variance be approved as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with stipulated ordinance would be unduly burdensome because based on the other things we've already offered him, he would not be able to add any type of accessory structure to his property. Again, it is a large property, it is far from the property lines, so that is okay. There is no injustice to the adjoining neighbors by the reason of we are going to screen it. Unique circumstances of the property have been demonstrated given the fact that, again, they already had a detached structure, which added to the ground floor area being exceeded, and that is why they're here for that particular variance. This is not self-created because of the fact that, again, they had a small garage, so they had to add accessory space in order to live in this home. If this motion is approved, all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all applications must be obtained prior to installation. Now, I'm going to require you shall put additional evergreen screenings so that it is not seen from public view. If the current stuff that's there is great, if your neighbors can see it and it's not, you have to put new screening in. However that works.
Sure.
Support?
Okay. I have a motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. All right, item number 5, 5886 Sutter's Lane.
Hi, I'm Nadine Bolaños, living in 5886 Sutter's Lane. So I'm here to ask for approval to install a swim spa. We want it for recreational purposes and also for workout, as we all love swimming. And we intend to install it directly at the house, respecting all codes. It is in the rear yard, more than 16 feet away from the property line, less than 14 feet in height, and we will screen it with evergreens. So the swim spa will be protected from sight all year round. It comes with a heavy-duty locking safety cover, which locks on all sides. The HOA has already approved, and so, yeah, tonight I'm asking for your approval as well.
Any questions from the board? All right, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone like to speak to this matter? Okay, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for any questions or motions.
Madam Chair, I'll-
Okay, Madam Chair, I'll make a motion. Okay, with regard to the appeal at 5886 Sutter's Lane for this pool spa, I move the request be approved as submitted. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-7.6 standards because this use of this structure is harmonious to the neighborhood, given the fact that these are used throughout the township and enjoyed by many. If approved, let's see, if approved,
application must include.
the application must include, application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to the installation, and additional evergreen plantings as indicated will be required to screen the swim spa from public view and must meet or exceed the height of the swim spa at the time of planting.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Item number 6. 7005 Cathedral Drive. Good evening.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jasper Hanifi. I'm the resident at 7005 Cathedral Drive. We're looking to install a hot tub in our rear yard. It's 16 feet from the nearest property line. We're putting in 16 arborvitaes along the south, whatever, between the property lines there to provide adequate screening. And I think that's it.
Are you putting the mountains in as well?
Hopefully, hopefully, if only.
It does look like there's quite a bit of screening on that rear property line. Is it yours? Just
So the screening on the east side, that is my neighbor's. The screening on the south side that already exists in the red, the existing 7, those are mine. And then I'm putting 16 more where it's purple.
Great screening plan. Love it.
I like the color codes.
Thanks.
Any other questions from the board? Then I'll open the public hearing. Anyone like to speak to this matter? I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for a motion or discussion.
I'll make a motion. In regard to the appeal at 7005 Cathedral Drive for the accessory structure, I move the request be approved as submitted. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-7.6 standards because the size of the accessory structure is compatible with the adjoining properties based on there's many hot tubs of this nature within the neighborhood and the township. It's appropriate to the neighborhood. And once again, many properties have this type of accessory structure. The location and accessory structure will not hinder or discourage the adjacent use of the property due to it being somewhat close to the house, complying with all setbacks and being screened, and it will be harmonious to the neighborhood for the reasons already stated. If this motion is approved, the application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installations, and additional evergreen plantings shall be required to screen the hot tub from public view and must meet or exceed the height of the hot tub at the time of planting.
Support.
Okay, I have motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Okay, item number 7. 1921 Lone Pine Road. Good evening.
Good evening. So my name is Tim Nelson, T. Nelson et al., architectural designer. 1921 Lone Pine, we're looking to do a retaining wall which exceeds at some portions of where the wall falls over 4 feet. So we're looking for approval for a retaining wall. Do you have the photographs of the house and okay, there we go, and the proposed rendering by chance? So what we're looking to do is, you can see the grade there. There was a wood deck originally there, which doesn't really go with the 1930s aesthetic for a house. So we'd like to tie in a reclaimed brick retaining wall, and we're doing an extension of a covered patio that sort of requires a retaining wall in order to build a foundation. So we're looking for approval for that. Again, the retaining wall, you should have a rendering of the proposed project. Retaining wall will match the brick on the existing rear of the house.
Any questions from the board?
Do you not have the rendering that was submitted? Is that a colorized rendering of the?
We don't always put everything on the PowerPoint. We
Okay,
can pull it and show it.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
that not the one you're referring to?
That is.
Yeah. I think it's big enough, we don't need to put up on the screen.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So I have screening planting, you don't even see the retaining wall, obviously, in the rendering, but I have a, plantings of...
I think we can see that. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to
Yeah.
project it.
That's great.
Beautiful.
And this is the proposed, this is the addition that's not part of this, but we need this approved in order to go to the next stage.
Okay.
Any questions from the board? All right, we'll now open a public hearing. Anyone like to speak to this matter? And I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for a discussion or a motion.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion. So with regard to the dimensional variance request at 1921 Lone Pine Road for a retaining wall varying in height due to grade changes with a maximum height of 5 feet, I move that this variance be approved as requested based on the information presented. The applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome due to the sloping topography of this lot. There is no injustice to adjoining neighbors by reason that this retaining wall will eventually be screened with some plantings. Unique circumstances with this property have demonstrated that, again, once again, it has sloping topography and this is not self-created. So if this motion is approved, it must include application for all necessary permits to be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation. Additional evergreen plantings may be required to screen, or shall be required to screen the retaining wall from public view, and must meet or exceed the height of the structure at the time of planting. I think that your picture of them or your landscaping plan is perfectly sufficient.
Great, thank you.
Support.
I have motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 8, 2228 Somerset Road. Good evening.
Good evening. Roy and Lisa Chow. We're the homeowners of 2228 Somerset. We moved in a little over 3 years ago. We've done a lot of renovations really to make it our home. We're really happy to be here in Bloomfield Township. We're meeting with you right now to ask for a zone variance. We hope to install a privacy fence in the backyard. We also have made dog owners, so we understand that there's ramifications if you happen to have a dog on property. So we want to see if we can receive a variance for the fence we want to install. And we received a notice from our HOA that they have no comment, and our adjacent neighbors are in support of our plan.
Any questions from the board? Okay, then I'll open the public hearing. Anyone like to speak to this matter? I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for any questions or motion.
Is the 5 feet at issue, or is it just the location on the lot line?
Both.
So it should be 4 feet.
Correct. Thomas point of rendering of the fence. It's not in the PowerPoint.
Because that's one issue, and then if it's a dog enclosure fence, it can go, it has to be 16 feet from the property line, so we're encroaching. Can you tell us why we have to encroach?
If you notice, our property is not that big. If we were to adhere strictly to the zone, we'd have a little poster stamp off of our back deck.
And there's also some really mature trees on the one side. So if we were to bring it in, we would kind of be having to go past what you're asking or cut it in half, the really mature trees. And our neighbors are completely fine with it. And we can go down to 4 feet. I don't mind that.
Yeah, we didn't know whether to ask for 4. I knew that 4 you don't have to ask for, but since we don't remember what we wanted, 4 or 5.
Well, I think if you would still go to the property line, you'd have to ask for something. That's a different variance.
Right.
So you're asking for two variances today.
I'm sorry.
The setback variance being so close to the property line, and then the fact that you're putting a fence in. If it's a dog enclosure fence, it can be permitted by right, correct? But they would still need to be, those are two separate issues you're asking for today. Correct, Andrea?
They're asking right now, it sounds like they're removing the request for the 1 foot exceeding the 4 foot height fence. So it looks like they're taking that off the table.
Yes, just.
Yes, it was neither here nor there for us. I just put 5 foot, I forgot the rule about the 4 feet.
Can I just share something real quick? When you guys say dog enclosure fence, we're not really using it for that. We have dogs, but we're gonna sit outside with them. We just wanna be able to do that with a leash, and be able to enjoy our backyard. We take them on walks, we do all of that. All of our neighbors have fences. We moved into the neighborhood thinking it wouldn't be a problem to put up a fence. We didn't realize all of that because we saw so many different fences and none of them are covered. They all go up to the property line. So we thought it would be okay. So that's when we moved and then we found out it's not okay. It was kind of a gut punch.
Just clarification for the board, did you guys submit a rendering of what type of fencing you're proposing? Because usually we have that.
We
did.
We had something from last year. We were thinking of either metal slat fencing or black coated vinyl, what do you call it? Chain link, yeah.
Okay.
So those are the two options we have. We hadn't decided which one yet. Costs and things, we're not sure yet.
That would be a point of discussion for the board.
And again, like you said, your neighbor already has a fence along the back property line.
That's correct.
So they already are at the edge. So you putting yours there would not be a hindrance to them, is what we're getting at. Is that what you
Oh, yeah, that's
said?
correct, yeah. They
Right.
can't cross over to us at this
Yeah.
point, yeah. They'd be pretty
And
adventurous.
and actually, our dogs love each other, so.
And you got the support of
What?
your neighbors, too.
All of your
Correct.
neighbors, that was really
Yes.
good.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
What's the height of your neighbor's fence?
In the back?
I would say 4 feet.
Oh, yeah, 4 feet. I guess.
So you're gonna go with a 4-foot fence?
Yeah.
We're good
Okay.
with that.
Any other questions from the board?
So are there any fences on the two sides then?
None.
Yep, so yours would be the only fence.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we require that to be screened and move in to have plantings on the two sides, which would only be 4 or 5 feet to
We couldn't
permit
do
some-
that especially on the one side.
with the
Okay.
trees?
You see the
You see the, yeah.
mature trees there.
And then there's just an issue with planting things on the outside of the fence for taking care of it, but also just some neighbor stuff. I don't know. I would rather plant them on the inside of the fence if that were okay.
Well, normally it would be on the,
On the outside.
It'd normally be on the outside of the
Outside,
fence,
right.
so that
To
neighbors
screen
out
their
of public view. But then you also would have to move it in far enough so you could maintain it, which I understand is a dilemma here, or
Yeah.
practical difficulty even, is what you're saying, is because of
Yeah.
your trees and your ability to maintain it. That's what it sounds like. Is that-
Right.
is
We
that
don't
right?
We don't have a problem with planting those. If people are worried about the dogs coming up to the fence, we would just rather do it on the inside, if at all possible.
It's really to screen the fence from view. That's what the plantings are for.
Is the type of fence consequential to the board? I mean, if you're talking about different types of fences, is that a concern for anybody?
Not to me.
is it going to be a solid privacy fence, or are you thinking of a more open?
No, it'd be open, either be slats or the chain
We
link.
didn't think we were allowed to have a privacy fence.
Well, I just wanted to make sure
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
what you were thinking.
When you say slats, like pickets, every
Like
4 inches?
like
the metal
they're like,
wrought iron.
yeah, but square.
Slats are like wider and more like a
Wrought iron.
privacy.
Yeah, but yeah, there'd be mostly gaps between it, yeah. Bunnies would be free to roam.
But it would look, it would still look, hopefully, it would still look nice.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we get into aesthetics, but I feel like a chain link fence, I would want to see screening.
Right.
And we usually do see an image of the kind of fence you're doing, so.
Okay.
We wrote
The
it on the
pickets.
thing.
Yeah, that was probably our.
We did write it on there, yeah. And then we would totally do wrought iron if that's preferred. We just weren't sure.
Yeah, there are all kinds of, aluminum finish things
you
that
don't
look like a
necessarily-
metal fence that aren't fully wrought iron. So
Right.
that look would be my preference.
Darker so it blends in.
I'm sorry?
Darker so it blends in.
Yeah.
Yes, that's our goal. We don't want galvanized steel. That would
No, that's
not
why
be
we
our.
were saying black. I think we had put down black. Or I know we did.
So if you're going to plant any evergreen plantings on the outside of your fence, how far into the setback would you want to go so that you have room to maintain your
We
plantings?
prefer not to do outside just because we want to take care of them, and we'd feel we have to encroach on our neighbor's yard to take care of them. Therefore, we like the 1 foot, from the north side, we like 1 foot, and then we plant inside the 1 foot from the property line. That's our intention.
Would you consider maybe bringing the fence in like a couple feet and planting those evergreen plantings on the outside? That's what we typically do in the township.
Can
Want to
I-
know what your opinion is of that?
I'm sorry. We're just curious, though, as to why that, we feel like that's being required of us when it's not in our neighborhood. So, I don't know, I don't see any other, the only fence that I see in our neighborhood that's screened like that is one that has basically two front yards. And they kind of screened it. But I don't see anybody else having to do that, so we're just kind of a little not sure why. If our neighbors are okay with it and, it would look nice.
Our neighbors are okay with it even without screening, to be frank.
I guess we're just not sure why we would be required to do
Something
it.
that the township requires is to screen fences from public view. I know in your situation that there may be some neighbors that have not, so, okay. What does the board think?
I guess if that's what's required, we just.
Is there a question at hand, ma'am? I'm not sure. Or sir?
How about we'll discuss at the board, and then we'll ask you. That way,
Okay.
we're not
Okay.
having this too much back and forth, because you guys are confused, and rightfully so. So most of the time, we screen fences, so people can't see it from public view. So the fact you got all your neighbors to support it is amazing. The fact you got letters from every single person is great. But let's say, just like you, a neighbor moves out and moves in. They didn't get a chance to say that she didn't want a fence, or I don't want to see your fence. Do whatever you want on your property, I don't want to see it. So that's that balancing act we try to do, is because just like you guys came in and didn't have all those knowns, we want to make sure we don't do that to the next neighbor. So trying to be fair. But we understand there are some practical difficulties that you're providing. I'm a screen whatever you want in your backyard, but I understand we have some issues. There are other neighbors having on the property line. So I have one issue. When you drive through the neighborhood, there are plenty of fences. Now, I don't love seeing them from the road. Everybody knows I don't love fences. So that is where I go. But again, they make reasonable accommodations associated with the fact that they have mature trees. So how are we going to have them be able to go around mature trees? When we talk about that's an important thing for not only them, but for their neighbors. So they already decided they were willing to reduce it down. I wish we would have gotten pictures of it, but we worked together on what type of fencing they're going to do, which is a picket fence. So they are able to provide us with some level of compromise here. And we have not gotten any feedback from the neighborhood negative to it. So,
That's a good point.
So if we would have gotten 5 neighbors that said, I don't want to see the fence, then maybe we have to find a way to accommodate that. I haven't gotten a single neighbor to call me on this one. Got plenty of calls on other ones. This isn't one I got a call on. So I think that would be a testament to them working to be neighborly. So if we want to soften it in some way, we could pick certain areas, maybe the front along the road for Somerset, that would still soften it, and then not be a burden to the trees and some of the mature landscaping they have.
We would be okay with that.
Is that practical if you have?
The 2 gates, you have to basically put it on each side of the gate, each side of the gate.
Yeah,
It would
that's true.
soften it a little bit.
Is that practical? I mean, because we wouldn't, how could we'd cut off access to, other than through the house. I don't know how.
No, not in front of the gates.
I guess we
but
could do
on the-
one gate.
No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm not saying in front of the gate, I'm saying how much space do you have on each side of the gates?
I don't know.
Gosh,
Yeah, you didn't provide the setbacks from your house.
actually, I thought I had
right?
written down, I think it's like 15 feet from the side of the house to the property line, give or take, or to the
Probably.
proposed,
Yeah, probably.
yeah, so,
15 or 16.
yeah, well, 1 foot, oh, I got it right then, because 1 foot for the fence. So yeah, that'd be wide enough, we could put some things
Yeah.
there, yeah.
That's what gates, and
Yeah,
then
just to
some
soften it from the
screening
front.
on
Yeah,
each
we could
side.
definitely
It's
do
hard
that.
to spatially remember how much.
Okay.
Right.
You ready or want me to?
Yeah, that works.
Did we have our open public hearing?
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion.
Perfect.
In regards to the permission request for a dog enclosure fence at,
Fine.
2228 Somerset?
Yes.
Yes, 2228 Somerset Road.
No, it's a mouthful.
For the accessory structure of a dog enclosure fence, I move to approve the appeal as submitted on the drawings with the addition of some evergreen screening on the, beyond the gates that faces Somerset Road. Feel that the applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-7.6 standards, the size of the accessory structure, given that you agree to move it to 4 feet, is compatible with the adjoining properties. The use of the structure is appropriate to the neighborhood and is a necessity for your dog enclosure and will be not objectionable to the nearby neighbors, as evidenced by the number of support letters that you have. If this motion is approved, applications for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year and all permits obtained prior to installation. Again, some evergreen screening from the road.
Right.
Great.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good evening.
She did. Many balls in the air.
Okay, item number 9, 7409 St. Albans.
Should we
Oh.
hear this?
Yeah, no,
right, the
we're
applicant.
gonna listen to this one. We're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I could.
Sure.
The applicant was unable to attend the meeting this evening. The request is to install a 5-foot by 6-foot deep platform deck adjacent to the house off the side door. We did have staff go out there today and take a look at the location and the approximate setback, because it was a little unclear. And the estimation that was made by members of our staff is that they're approximately going to be the edge of the platform porch is going to be approximately 10 feet from the lot line. So I would ask that if the board is so inclined to take public comment, if there is any, and deliberate. I just want to say that the request is for essentially a dimensional variance to install a platform deck on the side door. And the purpose of it is for the homeowner to be able to have access to that side of their yard. So with that, I can answer any questions, but I think that we believe that the encroachment is approximately 6 feet with well, I shouldn't say 6 feet because we know exactly where the house is. The setback from the edge of the proposed platform is going to be approximately 10 feet off the lot line.
All right. Well, I'll open the public hearing if anyone would like to speak to this matter. And I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for discussion or motion.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Sure.
So in regards to the appeal at 7409 St. Auburn Drive for the dimensional variance for the platform deck adjacent to the house side door encroaching
I would
10
say
feet.
setback 10 feet.
10 feet into the northerly side yard. I move the variance be approved as requested based on the information presented. The applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance, particularly the ordinance, would be unduly burdensome because this elderly or senior person cannot utilize their home because of the
garage, yeah.
to the garage. So again, we want our people to be able to age in their place, and what they're asking for is reasonable accommodations. There's no injustice to the adjoining neighbors by the reason of there was already a pad there. All they're trying to do is make this level with the door, so it's easier for access for less steps. The disturbance of the property been demonstrated given the fact that the garage was already that side. There was already some type of structure for walking, and we're just going to add to it. And this is not self-created because of the fact that, again, we want our seniors to be able to age in place. If approved, all necessary permits must be obtained within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation. And I'm not going to require evergreen screenings for this.
Support.
I have a motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, moving right along. Number 10, 6868 Thatchen Drive. Good evening.
Good evening, Jason Carroll. I am the homeowner at 6868 Vashon Drive. We're looking to put a 6-foot fence in on the back or east side and on part of the south side of our property, and then a double fence on the front.
Do you mean a double fence or do you mean a gate?
I'm sorry, double gate, yes, correct. Single fence, double gate. Thank you.
Is it that bad?
Yeah,
Zombies in
make
the
sure
valley?
nobody can get in, yes. And right now on the north side is a wooden fence that's around the entirety of the property next to us, and it has no screening, so we won't be putting a fence there, but we'll just be using that. And he's asked that the double fence part be put right and flush with the end of his fence, and we've agreed to do that.
Is there a reason why you selected 6 feet?
Because his is 6 feet, and then we have and the back is mostly covered by a metal fence for the pool in our neighbor's yard. It's about 5 feet high because up on the grade, so between the 4 feet metal fence and about a foot of grade, it's about 5 feet, so we wanted to match that.
Okay, any other questions from the board? Then I'll open the public hearing. Would anyone like to speak to this matter? I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for a discussion or a motion.
We'll have some discussion. So we've talked about screening, right?
Yes.
It's been a good theme here this evening. So again, I understand your neighbor to the one side has it right along the property line and you're going to be utilizing that, right?
Correct.
So, but your front does not have any screening.
The front would not, with that double gate would be, no.
So, but the double gate is not the full length in which you're
It
doing
is
it.
just a small, probably, what is it, 10, 15 feet?
So there is, similar to the previous people, is there ways for you to screen that
Yeah,
front?
the half of it would be screened. We have a bush there that would attach to our house or butt up against our house. The other side, we could put evergreens or whatever would work. No problem.
It sounds like a great solution. I
Sounds
really like
a
that.
popular choice.
What kind of material?
It's it's a plastic vinyl fence. It's about a brown color.
So to match the aesthetic.
We're trying to match what is on our neighbors without having to go to wood.
Any other questions?
Why is it not going completely around your property?
We have
Like stop
3
that.
large trees on that side that we don't want to remove now, and my wife didn't want to go around them and make a weird geometry, so we don't need it to be enclosed. We would like to eventually, but at this time, we want to leave those trees. We took out about 10 trees when we moved in, a lot of other, which is why we're asking for the fence. We just don't want to remove those 3 at this time because we'd have no trees left, so.
So then why do you want the fence?
We just well, part of it is because when we took out all these trees, there's nothing to protect the view of the neighbor's fence, the metal fence, as well. Then we just wanted to have the other side while we're doing it.
You don't have a dog, do you?
We do not.
Would hedging work? I mean, it's
Could.
not a containment fence. Could you do
We
a
thought
hedge
about
back
that as
there?
well, but we just prefer it at the end, maybe come back and we'll close the fence off in a couple of years when those trees need to come out. But we just wanted to have a fence because that seems to be a lot of folks in the neighborhood, and obviously including our neighbors, have similar 4 or 6 foot fences.
So the struggle we have here is that as a township, we're not big fans of fences unless there's like a safety issue or security issue or something like that.
Or a dog.
So, that doesn't defend those who've decided to put up fences without asking the township for permission and all that other kind of stuff. We're trying to make sure that we're enforcing the township's guidelines or restrictions, when we're asked, and we appreciate you coming to us. So the idea of just like stringing up like arborvitae and stuff like that to create an arborvitae fence, that's not an option?
I mean, I'd have to go figure out the cost of it. We prefer the fence just for the kind of the clean lines of it, but that would be our alternative if this doesn't get approved.
May we see the renderings for the type of material?
It's unfortunate that back fence, whenever they did that, didn't require screening.
But it's a pool.
And here we are, yeah.
It's a pool. Pool fences have a different.
Yeah.
Because it's a safety issue.
Is it chain link?
Yeah, the pool fence is chain link. The neighbor's fence is a wood privacy fence.
Is there a picture of the open area? You see a picture of the one that's not going to be fenced, the area that's not going to be fenced.
Which one?
Oh, basically to the neighbor to the one side that doesn't have a pool or a fence right now? Is that what you're looking for?
It's probably over here, down the driveway side.
I just didn't know if it's depicted in one of these pictures, I can't see it.
Well, I can understand matching the height of the neighbor's solid wood privacy fence. I guess I'd also throw out whether the rest of your fence can be at the 4 feet in height.
And you can also come back, maybe after hearing from the board, you know, reconsider it.
Okay, so it's a solid.
Yes.
Opaque fence in the taupe color.
And you're gonna do it in like a brown style fence?
It's like sand colored.
Yeah, sandstone.
There's
Yeah,
extra
there you go.
copies.
Yeah, there's a bunch of.
They're all the same.
Oh, okay. Down.
Just pass these things.
That's a lot of solid
6
fence.
feet tall.
Screening outside. Screen that.
So, I am not a fan of fences, but I understand you want one that's your right to ask for one. Is there a way for you to pull in the rear and the side in order to screen it from the neighbors?
If we need to, yes.
So what type of screening would you use?
Probably just arborvitae's or.
So the reason I ask is because the amount we're gonna push it in, without going in. Again, the goal is to maximize how much space you have there, right?
We have a large backyard, so we don't mind cutting a couple feet off. It's not a big deal for us.
You're pretty compromising. That's pretty good.
That's why I think usually ends up just being Friday.
I'm sorry.
That's why most people end up just planning Friday.
I mean, darn
Yes.
if you have to
Yeah,
put
because
that-
so the issue's gonna come in is if we say this, you're gonna have to plant arborvitae along the back and along that side. And then the front, we could just already kind of work that one out. The one side you don't have to because your neighbor didn't have to. So now you're planting plants plus a fence.
Plus the fence.
And if
So
That's where maybe the
sometimes.
arborvitae, forget the fence, just take the arborvitae, you'll have the privacy, and wouldn't want you to spend money on a fence and the arborvitae as well, if we can
fair
afford
enough.
not to.
Is that, what do you think?
We may, if you approve it and we do that, we'll just do that anyway. I mean, maybe my wife, she's not here, but she might want the fence anyway, and then we would just screen it, so. But if not, we would just go with arborvitae.
Do you want to wait till you can talk to your wife and come back a month from
No, I mean,
now?
to me,
We
if
can-
you're willing to approve it with the screening, we can go that route, and then if we choose not to and just not permit it and put it in, that's fine as well, so. But she may want it, she's from Europe, so she may want the fence and the arborvitae, and we'll pay for it, no, not to
Well, the
worry.
arbs would be on the outside.
Correct.
Your neighbors
Yeah.
would get them.
Yeah.
Right, they're gonna see it.
No, we've tried, I mean, as our neighbors would tell you, we've done a lot to try to get all the ugly out of the yard and things that were hanging over the diseased onto their properties, so.
You made a lot of improvements, but when you
Yeah,
made
we're
those
happy to do
improvements-
whatever, if that's what it requires, and we decide to do it, we'd happy to spend the money.
We did the public hearing, right?
Yes.
All right, Madam Chair, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
With regard to the dimensional variance request for a 6-foot-high fence located in the northerly side yard, easterly rear yard, and southerly side yard, I move that the variance be approved as amended. The amendment is going to be that we're requiring the Carrolls to bring their fence in enough distance to plant screening around the fence. And with this amendment, based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome due to the fact that they are matching up the fence with, their neighbors, and they're taking reasonable action to screen it from others' view. There's no injustice to the adjoining neighbors by reason of that fact that they are screening it. And unique circumstances of the property are being demonstrated by the fact that, it is their right to have privacy. So, as a result, sorry. If approved, the motion must include application for all necessary permits to be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation of the fence. As I stated, additional evergreen planting shall be required to completely screen the fence from public view and shall meet or exceed the height of the fence at the time of planting.
Support.
Can we discuss the motion real quick?
Sure.
Do we need to provide you with more clarification associated with how, so saying they have enough room to plant something in front of it may be too vague.
Okay.
I'm talking about which elevations need to be screened. You said one elevation doesn't need to be screened, so I just want to know which
Because one
elevations need to be screened.
one elevation, oh, what I said in the beginning, right?
So, in the motion that I made, so screening the elevations that are not the neighbor that has this, the privacy fence. So which side is that?
But you're not putting a fence there technically.
not, no.
So he doesn't have to screen anything because there's no fence there.
Yeah,
The only,
sorry.
the only, from, I believe, your motion states that the only screening will be the fence that he would install,
That's true.
correct?
Correct.
Do we need more for
Thank you.
the height, or you're okay with that, Andrea? Perfect.
All right, so.
And your
as
motion
amended.
approves it at the 6-foot height they're requesting?
Yes.
But arborvitae's or some type of a planting have to be that height to exceed it.
Is there a standard for how far apart they need to be?
You can't see
Next
it.
to each other.
Okay, next to each other, okay.
It's a lot.
Okay.
So you got a motion?
Dangling motion.
Support.
No.
Dangling. It wasn't supported, so I was waiting. Okay, so now I have a motion in support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Do you want to take a roll?
Roll call. Kalinsky,
Yes.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Oslowski,
Askowitz. Support.
Giagrande,
No.
Meads,
No.
Gittleman.
Yes.
So motion carries 4-2. 5-2.
5-2. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
So it was Meads and Giagrande.
Okay, item number 11, 154 North Berkshire Drive.
Motion for that one.
Hi, I'm Keith LaPonsa. I live at
We go on.
154 North Berkshire Drive, and I'd like to have a two-car detached garage built on the property. It's going to pretty much match the house. The house is built in about 38, so the siding, the cedar shake, and the peak, the garage doors would all be very similar to what's on the house. There is a lot of landscaping around it. There's a lot of trees. It's pretty much not visible from anywhere except the road. It would be at the top of the driveway.
Jocelyn?
Yes.
Ask a question?
Oh, yes, please.
So, the reason you're asking for a 16-foot garage height versus a standard 14-foot, is it to match that existing?
It would match the existing attached garage, yes.
So your practical difficulty is making sure that it aesthetically looks right?
Right.
So that it doesn't look like an eyesore to your neighbors or anybody?
Exactly, so it's very similar to what's there, uniform.
Perfect. And then do you have a basement?
Yeah.
Do you have a full basement?
It's not under the entire house, but most of the house.
So that'd be another reason that your practical difficulty associated with exceeding that 50% ground area is you need some area for storage?
Yeah, I guess so.
Sounds great.
Sounds good.
If you want to carry stuff up and down the stairs all the time, so. But the garage is mainly going to be used for car storage. I want to get another vehicle. We have 3 vehicles in the existing garage, plus a tractor, plus a cat that lives in there, in a heated cat house, and it's just very crowded. Especially in the winter, because all the stuff comes into the garage then, so.
Any other questions from the board?
Public comment, right?
Okay, I'll open the public hearing.
I think you have pictures of the lot, too, and where it's
Yes, we
gonna
do.
be.
Open the-
Nobody can see it. My nearest neighbor on the east, I think, is 150 feet through this wooded area of planting. And on the west, it's like 250 feet, so. And behind me, it's 40 feet, but that's all planted with evergreen trees at this point.
Well, I'll open the public hearing. Does anyone like to speak to this matter? Okay, then I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Sure.
I'm going to do the permission request. In regards to the appeal at 154 North Berkshire, for the accessory structure, I move the request be approved as submitted. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with Section 42-76 standards because the use of this accessory structure is appropriate to the neighborhood as cars get bigger, as we get more cars, people want more space for their cars. Second, for the dimensional variance at the same address, I move the variance be approved as requested based on the information presented. The applicant did demonstrate compliance for all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with strict liability ordinance would be unduly burdensome because they would not be able to utilize their structure appropriately. They would have to have cars outside, which would be more of a burden to their neighbors. There is no injustice to the adjoining neighbors by the reason of it's going to aesthetically match the house and have the same character and the same height, so it'll actually look appealing architecturally. The unique circumstance of the property been demonstrated given the fact that it doesn't have a full basement, so we need the extra storage. And this is not self-created because, again, the fact that we need more storage area. If this is approved, all application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to construction. A single-family affidavit will be required prior to submitting it to the township, and no screenings will be required.
Support?
I have a motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank
Good
you.
evening. Okay, item number 12, 203 South Glengarry Road.
Yeah, back again, Brian Nieper, architect, 259 East Frank in Birmingham. So here on South Glengarry, we have a kind of a unique neighborhood that was developed along with Bloomfield Village, but it's south of Maple, so Maple and Cranbrook. I believe a lot of the existing homes there were developed more to the neighborhood standards versus the township standards. So the existing home is a single-story ranch-style home. It's existing non-conforming, so it encroaches roughly 3 feet to the left side and then roughly 2 feet to the front, in the front yard. We're proposing a second-story addition, so it would be quite a practical difficulty to build the second story, set in from the first floor. So, structurally, you'd have the second floor that wouldn't be in line with the outer walls. And then it's just it's a structural nightmare to try and chase all those loads. So we're asking to be able to build, straight up on top of the existing non-conforming first floor walls. It's really just dealing with that existing position of the house. And we're hoping to gain your approval to build straight up.
You're not increasing the nonconformity of the setbacks, you're just
Maintaining what's
the
there. Yep.
nonconformity.
Any questions from the board? It's fine. So let me get the gap. No. Let me open the public hearing. Does anybody like to speak to this matter? Okay. Please come up to the podium and state your name and address.
Hi, I'm Dick Levine. I live at 184 South Glengarry, just one house over across the street. There are numerous two-story homes that are original homes on Cranbrook Cross in that sub. The original home is Judson Bradway, built in 1928, is directly across the street. Beautiful home. It's only 38 feet from the roadbed, so clearly that's in violation. Not that it's precedent-setting, but it's a beautiful home. And this one will be, I think, a nice home as well. I measured it. It's 51 feet from the roadbed, so it's kind of irrelevant as to where the lot line is. I don't know where that is. My home is 51.6. I've measured some other homes in the neighborhood on this street, and they're also 51 feet from the roadbed. So this home is actually no closer than any of the others. That doesn't mean that they're all non-conforming. I can't say what happened in 1954. But it looks like a beautiful home. It's in keeping with the 3 two-story homes on this street, the one directly across the street, and just 4 and 5 homes to the north. So I endorse this. It's no worse than any other. It's not worse than we've been living with since 1954. And I think it's going to actually improve the look of the neighborhood and the value of our homes. Thumbs up, endorsement for me. Okay,
Thank you. Yes, please.
I'm trying to figure out if the footings are going to support.
Oh, thank you. Excuse me, sir, would you mind sharing your name and address, please?
My name is Chris Dow, 235 South Glengarry. I'm the associate of the house, never mind.
HOA?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find out why there is variances that are not being approved, that why this subdivision ruling is now going to reinforce the smaller areas of the footings. How is the footings going to be on the how are the footings going to be increased to provide the structure of the 2-footers? And there have been years on the small footings of a 1-story footing.
So that would be up to the building department to figure that out.
That's
When they apply
right.
for the building permit.
And why don't we have the width of the footings available?
Well, that wouldn't be for this board. We're just trying to determine if the relief to the variance, or relief to the zoning code on the side yard setback and the front yard setback.
And it's in variance right now. The original house is in variance,
It's existing nonconformity right now.
non-conforming.
So he's not looking to make it any worse. It's going to be the same.
Could it be made better by,
I think structurally it's difficult to make it better.
where they're tearing it all the way down anyway?
Excuse me?
They're tearing the house down directly?
I think that's a practical difficulty and a hardship to tear the house down. I think this needs to be directed towards the building department, not us. We're looking at the site and the size of the house and location, not how it's being constructed.
Because the site is, in the smaller site and with a bigger house, and the site is non-conforming right now.
Correct. I'm not sure if I know what you're getting at.
Pardon?
I wasn't quite sure if I understood what you're getting at. Are you saying that it would be more beneficial to tear the home down and start a rebuild one, or?
Yes.
Well, that's not before us right now. What is before us is building an addition, going straight up and continuing on the non-conforming that is already existing.
And that's the
what's
problem,
before us.
is why does it have to go up?
Up is not a,
As opposed to,
The single-story houses that is a part of the system.
the non-conformity involves the
Madam
setbacks,
Chairman.
not the height of the house.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Madam Chairman? So-
yes.
He's supposed to provide this isn't supposed to be a discussion with him, right? He's supposed to have his question, and then him or the applicant can answer. So I think this became, instead of more of providing him facts, it became more of just a discussion. I don't know if it's becoming
That's
productive.
True. I was wondering if there was a question buried into what he was
I think the
stating,
end
but-
goal is that, well, how about we let him finish, and then we'll go over what I think his end goal is.
Okay.
Okay. I'm saying, I guess, the building that has been here for years is non-conforming to the property rights of the setbacks. So now you're building on it the same way with a bigger building. Are the foundations going to be replaced? This,
That's
for
not a
2
question for
stories? Are the foundations going to be enlarged?
Okay, I see where you're going. That's not before us right now. Only thing that's before us.
That's the issue.
Yes, but that's not for us to.
Sorry.
If I may?
Sure.
So I'm the director of the Planning, Building, and Ordinance.
Yes, thank you.
The request this evening is just for the setbacks. The actual construction and how it's going to be constructed will be presented as part of their building permit when they come to the building department.
So why,
So I don't think anybody here at the board here it can answer the structural, that's
Okay.
not before us.
so
or
why
them.
should we build another building which is non-conforming to a conforming place?
That is exactly why they're here this evening, is to ask for this board to allow them to do that.
That's right.
Correct.
So it's non-conforming right now, the house. So why should you satisfy us with a non-conforming building again?
Well, we understand where you're coming from, and that's something that we will consider if we wanted to
Thank you
vote
very
on
much.
the addition on a building that's already non-conforming. That's what we're going to vote on, so we'll
Okay.
make that decision.
So depending on where you are building it, you is going to be non-conforming or conforming to our present standards.
That's what the variance is for, and that's what we're going to determine tonight.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak to this matter? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. And I don't know if there's any.
Yeah, can you respond to those questions?
I would just like to say that this is a unique neighborhood, a unique situation. And, you know, we're just here asking for my client to have the right to use his property in the way that it's always been used and to continue to use that footprint that's already there.
Yes.
Are you tearing the house down?
No, it's just a second story.
So a second story addition, so we're not changing the foundation?
Not changing the
So
footprint
it's not like
or
we're
foundation.
You're asking for a variance where we're going to remove this house and then build into the same thing. Is that correct?
Correct,
So we already have a non-conforming issue.
correct.
Okay. We can't.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
I have a comment. There's a lot of these second stories getting added in your neighborhood. These are smaller lots, and the best use of this property is that you're not going out, you're going to capture space upstairs. I'm an architect, I agree. That is unduly burdensome not to line up the second floor on the first floor. And I'll be happy to make a motion unless
I just want to make one more comment. We're here to talk about the setbacks, and I don't think there's any variance that's required to add a second story. So we're just talking about the setbacks that I agree.
Yeah, okay. Well, in the matter of 203 South Glengarry Road, I make a motion to approve the dimensional variance to do the second floor addition, the 2 feet side yard, and the modest front yard setback to be able to construct the home on top of the existing footings. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all the standards of practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would not result in a practical second floor construction that doesn't line up on the existing structure that is non-conforming. There's no injustice to the adjoining neighbors due to the fact that they are used to where these walls are currently. The unique circumstances of the property have been demonstrated, given that it is an existing non-conforming condition in both places and not self-created. If this motion is approved, application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year. All permits must be obtained prior to construction, and that's where the building department will assure the rest of the project.
Support.
Okay, I have motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, item number 13, 7145 Parkhurst Drive.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kevin Kent. I am the owner of 7145 Parkhurst, as the drawing shows, and our association has approved. I would like to request a variance to move the generator, or place the generator, excuse me, farther from the house behind the air conditioners.
Any questions from the board?
What type of enclosure are you putting these in?
Arborvitae's, a whole bunch of them.
Arborvitae's along the backside, and then I don't see it on the.
Unfortunately, okay, that one's a better one. If you look carefully at the approved drawing, there is no, the association does not allow for walls, so there's no wall. There will just be arborvitae's surrounding the entire mechanical area.
So no fence?
Correct.
No walls? No
Correct.
footings? These are
Correct.
just arborvitae's that are going to meet or exceed the height of all that? How?
Absolutely.
So how high are those that you're planning on putting in?
Is it on there? 6 feet, I'd presume? 6 feet, to ensure that everything is covered, because we don't want to see them. Because if you're looking, the house will overlook it, so we want to make sure, not only for our sake, but for our neighbors, that it's covered.
So, because I did get phone calls on this particular one, which is usually not when I get phone calls on. So I'm going to make sure that we screen it, which you're going to do, and make sure we're not putting up fencing or masonry walls.
No, we
Which-
talked to, I spoke with James, Mr. Trask, the board, yes, there was an attempt to put the fence, no fence.
Okay. Great.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Scott?
Nope, I was just gonna say, I can tell from the windows here, you don't have a lot of other places to put that.
There is no other place.
So,
Any of the association's approval as well, I know.
I live right around the corner, and yeah, it's a very unique sized property. That I believe that is the only place you can put it.
Well, I open the public hearing. Anyone like to speak to this matter? I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion. In regard to the appeal at 7145 Parkhurst Drive for the dimensional variance request for ground-mounted mechanical units not immediately adjacent to the house and within existing mechanical enclosure, I move the variance be approved as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with the strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome due to the size of the lot. There is no injustice to adjoining neighbors by reason that these will be thoroughly screened with arborvitae and evergreen plantings. Unique circumstances with this property have been demonstrated, considering that there are, appears to be multiple frontages and windows, window placement that allows this to be really the only practical area, and that's not self-created. So if approved, the motion must include application for all necessary permits to be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to the installation of the ground-mounted mechanical units. Additional evergreens plantings shall be required to completely screen the ground-mounted mechanical units from public view and must meet or exceed the height of the units at the time of planting. It appears that your drawing there has that addressed.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening. Okay, item number 14, 6210 Westmore Road. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Mike Yeager. I am from Skilled Form Architects. We are located at 460 Hilton Road in Ferndale. I'm here representing the homeowners at 6210 Westmore Road. We are seeking a permission request for a hot tub with wood steps that is shielded by a privacy fence enclosure. The hot tub in the enclosure will be located within the side and rear yard setback and hidden with evergreen deciduous landscaping. We have also received written support from the neighbors.
Okay, excuse me. Excuse me, gentlemen in the back, would you mind taking your conversation?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you. Okay, sorry about that.
That's it. That's all we got.
Any questions from the board?
So you said evergreen deciduous, but actually it would be evergreen, which is non-deciduous.
Or, I'm sorry, yeah, evergreens, yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
right. Evergreens.
Your screening plan looks like it does it right to the north. Does it have anything to the front?
There's existing?
Yep, there are existing evergreens that, you can see them on the curve there, right there, yep.
And
That
that's
screen
enough
it.
so that we don't see it from the road?
You won't see it from the road, correct.
Okay, because that'll be in the motion, and if we have to, we plan more.
Right.
Fair?
Right.
That's the.
Yeah, you can see it in the photo on your
That's
left
fair.
there, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? All right, well, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone like to speak to this matter? I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board.
Madam Chair, I can make a motion. In regard to the appeal at 6210 Westmore Road for the accessory structure, I move the request be approved as submitted based on information presented. The applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-7.6 standards because the use of the accessory structure is appropriate to the neighborhood, as many homes in that neighborhood have a similar accessory building or hot tub. It's screened properly, and it's within setbacks. And it's definitely harmonious with the other properties in the neighborhood. If approved, the motion must include application for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to installation. Additional evergreen plantings may be required to screen the hot tub from public view and must meet or exceed the height of the hot tub at the time of planting.
Support.
I have motion support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 15, 3788 Crest Lake Drive. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Chris Gongora, architect. I reside at 1548 Atkinson Street in Detroit, and I'm here on behalf of the property owners of 3788 Crest Lake. And we are asking for permission to construct a detached garage in the rear of the existing home. So the proposed structure and the existing detached garage account for 49% of the square footage of the primary residence. The structure accounts for 17% of the required rear yard, and it is a foot smaller than what the zoning code maximum is. The structure will be used as a garage for vehicles that are rarely used for a private car collection.
Can you tell us what the cars are?
Maybe the owner can speak to that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board?
It reminded me of Ferris Bueller's Day Off when I looked at the art. When I looked at it, I don't know if that's where we're going.
Yeah, we
Dude,
wish.
like, I saw it and I was like, that reminds me of that. That's the only comment I have.
Okay, well, then I'll open the public hearing. Anyone like to speak to this matter?
Yes, please.
My name's Gary Jablonski. The owner at 3802 Crest Lake Drive. I'm here with my wife, Margaret Skinner, who's the co-owner of the property. We have the property immediately south. We share the property line where the garage is going to be located. We have three primary concerns with the plan, the way it's currently documented. We'd just like to see the board take hopefully take some action on. We want to make sure the unique topography along our shared property line is clear and understood. The garage will be built on an elevated bluff that's going to cause it to look down onto our yard, and it's going to be a pretty imposing structure in our landscape. The same topography raises concerns for us with water drainage, so we want to make very sure that a water management plan is adequately addressed. And the screening proposal that's in the proposal right now, we don't think is adequate to screen the building from us. The proposed location of the building, it's on an 11-foot high bluff. That's a 13-foot tall building, so it's 24 feet above our backyard. It's 24 feet above our finished floor. It's actually 5 feet over the two-story section of our house. Just unfortunate topography, but it is going to sit very high. Exhibit 1, we just provided a topographic map showing it. It's the same topography that was in the deck. It's just a little bit easier to read. Exhibit 2, I don't know if you can bring up the photographs there in the permission request, the one that looks south. I just reproduced it in the handout that I gave you, but the view at the bottom right there is a reasonable representation of where the garage is going to sit and how it's going to look down on our house. And then just, if we seem triggered by this, Exhibit 3 I gave you is just a panoramic photo of our backyard. It's the reason we bought the property about 18 months ago. We searched for years to find a heavily wooded property. We cannot see a man-made structure in our backyard. This will be the first one. The architecture of the building is going to magnify its impact on our backyard. We appreciate it matches the house. We wouldn't tell the owners to do anything different. But this question can be answered later. We actually, by looking at the plan view and these elevations, we think the elevations are mislabeled. We think the bottom right is the elevation we think is going to face us, but maybe the architect can confirm that after. But it's going to be a stark, almost white taupe, I think was the color, rectangle sitting on that hill looking down on our property. And then just quickly, water management, again, it's sitting on a bluff, water runs downhill. It actually can't go anywhere good. If you look at the topography map, it either goes into our neighbor's house or our house. And so we want to be really sure that a water management plan is thoughtfully considered, ideally before we approve this. We're also concerned the bluff where this is going, if you look at the topography, there's a 4-foot difference between the entrance to the garage and the back of the garage. And so it isn't, if in the elevations and maybe they're just placeholders, the elevations suggest a flat foundation and a flat grade. That's not actually what the grade is. And so we don't know if grading or retaining walls are part of the plan to make that flat so that the building can be built the way that the elevations show it. If that's the case, we also have drainage concerns just to make sure that after grading or whatever happens back there, that we don't have a water issue. And then lastly, evergreen screening. The plan shows a proposal for 6-foot tall evergreen screening. We don't think, given what I've said about the impact of this on our view, we don't think that's adequate. We'd appreciate the building being completely screened from us, 13 feet tall. We'd appreciate if the screening on the side was staggered. Again, a wall of evergreens in that backyard isn't going to look natural either. And we're concerned a little bit about the long-term use of the building, so we can't guarantee. We appreciate that the owner's saying it's a car collection, and he's not going to use it very often. The next owner of this house could use it every single day. So I don't know if we have a recourse down the road other than to ask now that the screening continue down the driveway. We're building a new primary first floor bedroom so that we can retire in this house, and it's on this side of the property. So if that driveway were used daily, we'd have lights and noise coming into our primary suite. So appreciate our neighbor has a passionate hobby. We think it's cool too. But we have a passion trying to build a home we can retire in on that beautiful property, and so we'd just like some accommodation. Any questions for me? Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak to this matter? Okay, then I'll close the public hearing. Want to address any of those concerns?
Yeah. We'll gladly work with the neighbors to make sure that the screening is adequate. We can provide taller screening, we could provide denser screening, but we definitely want to maintain good relationships with the new neighbors.
Water management.
I'm sorry, the water management. We will do some grading to level the area. There'll be minor cut and some fill. But in terms of the drainage, I mean, we're not going to create more drainage or slope than there is currently.
Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, I do have a question. Well, I mean, I sort of understand, again, the engineering department, or building department, when they go in, will be requiring water management relative to the driveway?
Yeah, I mean, there's a driveway permit that's required, and then there'll also be a building permit, and as part of the building permit review, we would be looking at some sort of a drainage management plan, if you want to make that a part of your condition, to ensure that a specialized drainage plan is considered for this based on public comment. That would be for the board, but this will be thoroughly reviewed by the building department as if it were approved, it would be reviewed in accordance with building code and our township requirements.
I think they may have a point here about your sloping grades, that your, elevations, whatever the next sheet is towards the corner, going to get larger. There'll be some exposed foundation or whatever. What material will be on that?
It's a taupe-colored khaki fiber cement material.
Okay, so the exposed foundation, it'll go down over
There shouldn't be any exposed foundation, but there will be the fiber cement, which is a lighter color than, say, a masonry.
Yeah, so at least one of these elevations, there's really a sloping.
Not after the grading.
Are you going to take down most of the hill and make it flat, or are you going to build into the hill?
There's going to be some cut into the hill and then some fill in front of the hill to make it a flat grade
And
for
then do
us.
you plan on building towards the hill, and then the hill will go into it, and then you'll have part of foundation to it, which will actually make the building feel smaller because there's...
From the rear, it'll appear smaller, correct.
So again, so we are cutting into the hill to build a structure. And then the screening plan. I'm not saying, your westerly neighbor is Bloomfield Hills, so I'm not saying that that's one of my problems, but a Bloomfield Hills resident isn't here to complain. To the south is a resident who is here talking about that.
Correct.
So do you think we could put staggered style trees 8 to 10 feet? If we're looking up and we have a tree, you get more breadth with that as well?
Correct. Yeah, we're willing to do that.
Okay. Were you planning on having a plot plan or a civil engineer plot this out, or was that not part of the original plan?
For the landscaping, or for the grading, our contractor will be doing the grading plan.
The contractor, so you were planning on hiring a separate engineer to create a plot plan and/or
Like a
site plan?
survey? No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I know is not necessarily required by the township, but I wanted to see if you were already planning on doing that anyways, so it would not be an additional requirement for you. Got it. That's why I asked.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So based on the neighborhood feedback, they wanted to make sure water management was taken care of. The building department reviews it and ensures there is no water issues, and if they are, they'll ask for additional documentation associated with it. That's outside of our realm, but we could ask for it if we wanted to. We've mitigated the screening plan with additional screening, which they said they would do, and they do staggered to ensure it. He's off the property line by 16 feet. He's not asking for any variances, he's asking just for permission to do something that in somewhat right, he's allowed to. So it sounds like from the applicant's perspective, he's tried to accommodate and mitigate all the concerns from his direct neighbor. Does anybody else have any
So
thought
the
on?
civil engineering would take care of the water drainage issue?
If you ask for a civil engineering plan, yes, or we could have the building department just do their normal review of it, and if they notice that topographical changes or too close to it when they go out for, whether it's footings or any type of inspections, they would then require additional. because again, they don't want water issues going on. And again, if you put trees and those type of plantings there, they will be adding additional landscaping in order to build that up, which will also change some of that grading, which necessarily wasn't on this plan because they didn't provide us a topographical plan, the applicant. They provided us just an overview, which is all that's required.
Refresh my memory, did the resident ask for you to extend the screening further up the driveway, and do you have a response for that?
Correct, and we're willing to do it to maintain good relationships with the neighbor.
Yeah, then.
Does anyone-
I'll make a motion. Anybody else have anything?
Go for it.
So in regards to the permission request at 3788 Crest Lake Drive, I move the request be approved as amended. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-76 standards because the use of this accessory structure is appropriate to the neighborhood as having secondary garages or detached structures for these is something that a lot of neighbors have, especially in this area. If this motion is approved, all application for necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all applications must be obtained prior to construction. A single-family affidavit is required to be submitted to the township at that time. We are going to require 8 foot along the southern property line, and I would like a staggered tree along the structure. And then after that, you and the neighbor can work for 10, we'll say 10 more feet along the driveway side to soften that. After that, that's neighbor stuff. We're not going to require it.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Okay, item number 16, 1206 Cedar Home Lane.
We're requesting approval of dimensional variance of the existing structure located at 1206 Cedar Home Lane, Bloomfield Hills. The required dimensional standard for this property is 35 feet in the rear property line. However, the existing structure that was built in 1969 measures approximately 22 feet, 9¼ inches from that line. So the existing structure is non-conforming. We created and remodeled the house to conform to the existing ordinances. So if you go back to the original slide, you'll see the blue and the yellow areas are the additions, and those do not encroach into the setbacks, either the front or the side or the rear setbacks. During construction, it was discovered that the exterior walls were structurally inefficient, which we hadn't known until construction started. And so now we're here before you today to ask to bring the existing structure into conformity with a 12-foot. I think 12 foot is in the application, but I think we need 12 foot 6 inches to be safe.
Any questions?
If you asked for extra, we didn't notice the 6. So can you make the 12 work?
Yes, and according, the information we had from our surveyor, we didn't have access to. And actually, what he's showing as the non-conforming part, or the closest to the rear set line, is actually 20 feet, 27.21 feet, which is
Okay.
actually farther than we had thought.
So as long as you have a survey, the surveyor's putting his,
That's
his
correct.
stamp, right? That's his liability,
Yes.
not yours, right?
That's right. I'm not a gambling person, I agree with you.
That's the way I look at it. That's what you pay that money for. So, okay, great.
Good.
All right, well, then I'll open the public hearing. I don't think I did that. Anyone like to speak to this matter? Then I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board,
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion.
please.
In regards to the appeal at 1206 Cedar Home Lane for the setback, existing foundation encroaching 12 feet into the 35-foot northerly setback. We're going to give you the full 12 feet even if that gives you your play. I move the variance be approved as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with strict letter of the ordinance would be unduly burdensome because, again, this is already a non-conforming home. All we're doing is repairing it, and the encroachment is on the golf course. There was no injustice to adjoining neighbors by the reason of it already was pre-existing, and all we're doing is repairing it to make sure it's structurally intact. The unique circumstance of the property had been demonstrated, given the fact that we originally weren't even going to touch this. It became a fact, and being good builders and good developers, we wanted to make sure it was good for the homeowner, which is a great thing. This is not self-created because of the fact that we weren't planning on doing this anyways. So if this is approved, all necessary permits must be made. We're going to say 1 year, or we're going to say 5 days because it's already being constructed?
I would say 5 days. Yeah.
Permits must be within 5 days, which will get you guys working, which is what I think everybody wants.
Yeah.
And all permits must be obtained prior to us starting that construction again.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Okay, last but not least, item number 17.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make it known that I know this applicant, but I can fairly look at this appeal and be non-biased.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep.
Okay,
How you doing?
5560 Lane Lake Road.
Good evening, members of the Zoning Board of Appeals. My name is Roger Young, and I'm with Young & Young Architects, 1133 Long Lake Road, Bloomfield. I'm here with my client and his wife, Deb and Steve Rosenthal, and their neighbor, Carolyn and Jim Bellins, have also attended in support. The variance request in front of you is actually triggered during the building plan review for their new home. All elements of the plans were approved, but during the review process, it was determined that the gallery mudroom hallway between the garage, which is attached by a conditioned space both below and above, there's a basement below that, was, to my surprise, honestly, deemed as, through policy, a breezeway. And breezeways, by definition, are typically open on the sides and connect incidental spaces subordinate to the primary residence. So the purposes of the variance are not necessarily for an attached accessory structure. Or a detached accessory structure, forgive me. This is an attached accessory structure. Part of the review process brought up elements from a design standpoint that are actually very common in the township, not only with our firm, Young & Young Architects, but other architects that are using changing forms and overlapping roof planes, not only to make the architecture more interesting, but also to create interest and experiential movement throughout the spaces. That is intentional. And so, in fact, the neighbors, Carolyn and Jim Bellinson, directly to north, their home has a similar design element. And again, several homes that not only we've designed, but perhaps, Linda, you have as well, have these features that are intended to break the house apart, provide more light and air and movement between buildings, allow visibility for the neighbors' enjoyment into courtyards and landscape areas. So this is something that we feel is important to architecture and enhances the experience not only for the homeowners but for the community. We did meet with the building officials on a couple occasions just to walk through and understand, what their concerns were, and they suggested that we come and meet with you because this is something that is somewhat of a permission request, if you will. It's not something that's defined in the ordinance. It's more of a policy, and so we just felt that it was important for you all to weigh in on this. Again, thank you for pulling that up, Tom. The shaded area on the right, that is a glass floor-to-ceiling wall on two sides, and you don't see the basement below, but there's a full basement below that space from the four-car garage to the residence. It's about 19 feet in length and about 5 feet in width. To the right, the orange reflects a higher flat roof area, so suggestions were made to change things or to return the gable, but we stand firm in principle of design that this makes sense and it's appropriate and is not, will not be objectionable to the neighbors or provide any, anything negative, I guess is, that's all I just say. Tom, if you could pull the renderings up, that would be really helpful. In the renderings, I think it helps because sometimes in plan, thank you, you can see the forms of the residence, and so areas that were intentionally raised and to create more dynamicism between the forms of the building are intentional. This is one complete thought. And I do respect the townships, and even in some communities such as Foxcroft, that do not allow breezeways, something that perhaps you buy from a TV guide in the 60s where you had a ranch with a detached building and then you have a small aluminum structure that is maybe not aesthetically pleasing and appropriate for the community. This is anything but that. To continue, not to belabor the accessory building variance, but this is really part of the discussion for tonight, and we wanted to know how you felt about it, and we feel it's appropriate. We feel it's an architecturally sensitive, responsible solution to the design, and request your approval for this.
Questions?
You mentioned, is there a
I have a
garage?
question.
Is there a basement under the garage?
No, there's not.
There's just a basement under the breezeway?
Correct.
Okay, I thought you said.
The glass and it being narrower, I think there's other cities that would call that an attached garage. There's lots of other cities that would consider that an attached garage. So are we even voting on a variance request for the front yard, or is this an interpretation?
They're not asking for interpretation. The request is that this is considered, because the interpretation has been made, that this isn't attached based on the design, you're looking at this as a detached structure. Roger, however, hand is stating that in his, in his design aesthetic, he does believe it's part of the house. Understandable. However, our past practice and interpretation is that the way that this is designed is that you're treating this as if it's a detached garage. However, understandably, from a design perspective and from the homeowner's perspective, that's not how they see it. But in accordance with the way that we review what is considered an attachment to a garage, this is not, and this is probably going to be a further conversation that will be had in the future. But at this time, this is how we've always treated this type of an attachment for a garage.
When the attachment is narrower than the actual garage?
Correct.
Okay. So they are requesting both a dimensional variance and a permission request.
I have a question. Is it heated?
It is heated. I'm sorry. Steve Rosenthal, homeowner with my wife Deb. It is heated, conditioned. Basement connects to the basement in the main house. It was defined to me as an accessory structure because it didn't have two conditions. One was a common roof line with the house, right? And, or a common wall with the house. I think there's a common wall with the house, right? I think the garage has a common wall with the house. And a common roof line seems extraordinarily arbitrary to me in design, but, that could be an aesthetic conversation later. So we're here asking for, I think that the hardship is, we wouldn't normally be here because it's attached. They're putting us in a hardship saying, no, it's not attached, an accessory structure, it's in the front yard. So you're right, why am I here? Because we were told we had to come here because it became accessory, even though to us it was not.
Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, I assume there's a door from the garage to the mudroom. Is there another door on the other side of the mudroom to the main house, or is that just open?
No, it's open.
It's just
The floor plan's open, that hall's there, mudroom's there, yeah.
I have no further questions.
No. I'm ready for public comment.
All right, open the public hearing. Does anyone like to speak to this matter?
Hi, Jim Bellinson, 5532, directly next door. It'll be right next to our house. We think it's beautiful. We love it. Your point is a great one. There's no door. It's part of the house. There's no door going into it. It's just open to the house. So We're happy to have it. We think it's a beautiful design. That's all.
Wonderful.
Anyone else like to speak to this matter? Okay, then I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board.
This obviously seems to be a great home, so I mean, I think that we could work with the township, guidelines.
With that, I'd like to make a motion.
Please.
Members of the
So
board.
in regards to the appeal at 5560 Lane Lake Court, for the accessory structure, I move the request be approved as submitted. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate compliance with section 42-76 standards because the use of this accessory structure is appropriate to the neighborhood as people have a garage for their home. So if we're going to call this an accessory structure, you don't have a main garage for your house, so you need to have a garage for your house. So this is an accessory structure, people have to have a garage for their home, and a garage of this size and the scale makes sense. In regards to the dimensional variance, because the garage is 22 feet high, I move the variance be approved as requested. Based on the information presented, the applicant did demonstrate all standards for practical difficulty because compliance with strictly the ordinance would be unduly burdensome because, again, from the height perspective, the garage needs to have a similar scale and height against the home, or else architecturally, it will look different. That is appropriate. There is no injustice to the adjoining neighbors by the reason of, again, not only the architectural elements make sense, they are here supporting it. Unique circumstance of the property have been demonstrated given the fact that this is an architectural element and there is a different interpretation of how that works. That is a unique circumstance, and this is not self-created because it is a difference of opinion on how this is created. If this motion is approved, all applications for all necessary permits must be made within 1 year, and all permits must be obtained prior to construction. And a single-family affidavit will be required for your garage.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Have a good evening.
If I could bring something to your attention, it's just come up through the development of the design that Stephen and the general contractor and our firm have thought that one alternative would be to flip the house, meaning the garage that you see presently on the south property line would be literally flipped to the north. And that was done purely to reduce the amount of cut and fill required. It just seemed to make more sense from a practical standpoint, and I have brought site plans. George and Chris Fox felt that it was important that if that were to occur, that it should be brought to your attention. It doesn't affect, we're not asking for any variances, it doesn't affect anything from a planning or permitting standpoint. It actually reduces the amount of grading required, so it's benefit because by doing that, the residence follows the natural contours of the property more closely. And Chris and George said, make sure you bring it up so you guys know. But
So right now, the
The
motion was already done. I wish you'd have said it before.
Well, that's what I said before we were just talking, I was like, we gotta interrupt. I think to be more accurate is the entire house is being flipped, it's not the
It's
garage.
a mirror image of the house.
Exactly.
Just everything is
So,
flipping
every,
north to south.
exactly, right, Glenn.
So
So
if
it's a
we-
complete
And
flip
you'll
of
be
the house.
cutting less.
The high side is the north side. And when I was out there a few weeks ago, I looked at it and it just made way more sense, right? To follow the grade because it's a walkout. So when I brought it up and it was already in, we talked about just bringing it up. And it's not because it changes anything. We're submitting a new grading plan. The house is the same, the connection is the same. It's no different,
Your
it's the same
approval is
house.
for a garage that's 22 feet high, which will be the exact same.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're going to have a detached garage. So I don't believe it changes where it is in the property.
You're going to be
believe
clearing
we
all
all
this
think.
with the
Tied
building
to the
department
plans.
anyway, so.
Do we need a second motion to say the actual orientation on the street?
Well, what we're approving is the same, though, correct?
that is correct.
Yeah, the
I think the
variance.
record can reflect that, you know, like Chris has stated, the motions have been made for the issues that are required to be responded to by the board.
Yes.
So I
And
think
it
we
was
can-
already noticed appropriately. There were
Yeah.
appropriate notice for a detached structure and the height of the structure.
Right, so
So it
nothing's
didn't matter about
changed.
where it orientated on the lot, as long as we meet the setbacks, which you guys are going to do anyways.
That's correct.
So,
What's been mentioned, I think, will be coordinated with the building department and.
Absolutely, and I know George was ready to let the permit go, but it sounds like there's some changes coming. So George is well aware of everything that's occurring. Thank you for working with the township, and George I'm sure you and George will be talking soon.
yes.
Thank you very
He'll be in the office on Thursday, but he's well aware that
Congratulations.
you guys are waiting for this, but now it sounds like there's a change.
And
So,
we
okay.
love working
Well,
with the
thank you.
township.
Thank you very much.
Have a good evening.
When's our next meeting?
I'm sorry?
When is the next meeting?
July
14th.
14th.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion to adjourn.
Oh, one
Okay,
second.
let's close out the meeting for one moment. Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
All those in favor,
I
say
have a quick question for staff. I don't know if it belongs in the meeting, but Andrea.
Well, let's let him
Well, I think we
ask his
just did a
question.
motion to adjourn.
Adjourn,
Okay,
yes.
yeah, it's just a
We can talk, just,
question.
okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a question?